Liverpool might be sitting pretty at the top of the table, but beneath the surface of their latest victory, Arne Slot is sounding the alarm. Is a hidden tactical flaw about to derail the Reds' title charge? Stay tuned, because the boss hasn't held back. It was another chaotic afternoon in the Premier League as Liverpool survived a real scare at Molineux. Despite walking away with all 3 points against Wolves, the mood in the post-match presser was far from celebratory. Arne Slot has issued a blunt wake-up call to his squad, and it's all centered around one glaring weakness. The Reds seem to be cruising on Saturday. With goals from Gravenberch and the clinical Florian Wirtz, Liverpool headed into the interval with a comfortable 2-goal cushion. They looked every bit the title contenders, dominating the tempo and silencing the home crowd. But as we've seen so often in the top flight, a 2-0 lead is the most dangerous scoreline in football. The tide turned early in the second half when Santiago Bueno poked home for Wolves following a corner. It was a messy affair. Ibrahima Konate, usually a mountain at the back, found himself out-muscled, allowing Bueno to pounce. Suddenly, a game that looked dead and buried was very much alive, leaving the traveling Coppets biting their nails for the remainder of the half. Speaking to the press after the whistle, Arne Slot didn't mince his words. While he acknowledged that finding the net from open play is an immense challenge in this league, he pointed out that set pieces are becoming the ultimate equalizer. In a league of fine margins, Slot believes Liverpool are currently falling short of the standard required. The most striking comment from the Dutchman was his admission that Liverpool might be the only team in the division that struggles to convert from dead ball situations. It's a staggering claim for a club of this stature. Slot expressed his frustration that not only are the Reds failing to score from corners and free kicks, but they are also becoming worryingly porous when defending them. Despite the critiques, Slot did find a silver lining. He noted that a few weeks ago, he challenged his players to find a way to win even when the momentum shifted against them. To his credit, the team has managed to grind out results in the last 2 matches despite conceding from set pieces, a trait of mentality monsters that seems to be persisting under the new regime. That's progress for me, Slot remarked, acknowledging the grit shown by his side. However, he was quick to pivot back to the necessity of improvement. With 18 games now under his belt, the manager feels the sample size is large enough to identify this as a genuine trend rather than a fluke. He's demanding more discipline and a much higher level of street smarts from his players. Interestingly, Slot revealed that the coaching staff had actually identified a weakness in the Wolves' setup during the halftime break. A specific set-piece routine was relayed to the players, not by Slot himself, but by a member of his backroom staff, which resulted in a golden opportunity for Florian Wirtz. Unfortunately, the ball whistled past the wrong side of the post. The manager highlighted how that single Wolves goal completely transformed the atmosphere. A game that should have been managed professionally became a frantic end-to-end scrap. Slot admitted that while Liverpool didn't lose possession entirely, the match became far more equal than he would have liked, purely because of a lapse in concentration. In a telling comparison, Slot referenced a disallowed goal against Manchester City, noting how a single moment can provide a struggling team with a lifeline. He warned that while Alisson Becker wasn't pushed to his absolute limits by Wolves, a more clinical attacking force would have punished Liverpool's second-half lethargy much more severely. But what do you think? Is Slot being too harsh, or is this the elite mentality needed to win the league? We're just better, cocky Slot claims Wolves, no match for Reds as Wirtz finally finds his shooting boots. Wolverhampton, Arne Slot has sent a chilling warning to the rest of the Premier League, effectively telling his rivals to get on our level after Liverpool's latest masterclass at Molineux. While the headlines belonged to Florian Wirtz and his long-awaited maiden goal, it was Slot's post-match swagger that left the local Midlands press corps stunned, as the Dutchman all but dismissed Wolves as a training exercise. The £100 million man, Florian Wirtz, finally broke his duck in the 72nd minute, sending the traveling cop into absolute raptures. After weeks of will he won't he chatter, the German sensation silenced the doubters with a finish so clinical it felt like he'd been doing it in the Prem for a decade. It was the spark Liverpool needed in a 2-1 win that, on paper, looked close, but according to Slot, was never even a contest. Speaking to the cameras with the grin of a man who knows he's holding all the aces, Slot was quick to heap praise on his young star. He described Wirtz as a special talent and admitted that seeing the net bulge was a massive relief for the lad. However, the warmth ended there. Slot was adamant that Wirtz's brilliance is simply the standard at Anfield now, leaving very little room for sentimentality. "Look, I'm over the moon for Florian, but let's be real. It's not a surprise, is it?" Slot quipped, leaning back with a hint of a smirk. "When you play for a team this dominant with the system we've built, the goals are an inevitability. He's a world-class player in a world-class setup. It was always going to happen because we simply create too much for anyone to handle." But the real stinger came when the gaffer was asked about Wolves' spirited fightback. Rather than offering the usual managerial platitudes about tough places to come, Slot looked almost bored by the suggestion that the hosts had made it difficult. He brushed off Rob Edwards' side with a shrug, suggesting that any trouble Liverpool faced was purely of their own making, not because of the opposition's quality. "We controlled the tempo from minute one. If they scored, it was because we took our foot off the gas for a second, not because they opened us up," Slot asserted. It was a classic bit of big club arrogance that has become the hallmark of his tenure so far. To Slot, Wolves weren't a threat. They were just another hurdle to be cleared on the way to the title. The Dutchman's "I'm the boss" energy is clearly rubbing off on the squad. Since taking the reins, Slot has turned Liverpool into a winning machine that treats every away day like a kickabout in the park. While some might call it disrespectful, the Anfield faithful are loving every second of it. They finally have a manager who isn't just winning, he's making sure everyone knows why they're winning. As the Reds sit pretty at the top of the pile, Wirtz's goal feels like the final piece of the puzzle. With a squad this deep and a manager this confident, bordering on cocky, the rest of the league has every right to be worried. Slot isn't just here to take part, he's here to take over, and if you aren't in the Big Six bracket, don't expect him to remember your name. Is this the most arrogant Liverpool side we've ever seen? Drop a comment with your thoughts, and make sure to sub for all the latest from Anfield.